Trinity Lutheran Church in Akron. It was a few years back now, about 6 years ago as a matter of fact, when our granddaughter was baptized. Our son and daughter-in-law were living in Chicago at the time, and so we went to Chicago for the baptism, and some other family members went along with us. We'd been in Chicago plenty of times because our boys went to school near there. But for some other members of the family, they'd not ever been there, and they were such tourists, walking up and down Michigan Avenue, wowing at all the big, tall buildings. Reminds me of the story that's coming up in this Sunday's gospel lesson. Jesus and the disciples are in Jerusalem, and these homespun boys from Galilee are getting their first good look at the big city. Woo-wee! Look at those buildings. Aren't those things fine? Peter, stand over there next to that rock. We need to get your picture. And say what you want about Herod, and there's plenty of bad to say, but as a matter of fact, that temple complex is pretty exciting. Sturdy enough that some of the stones are still there today, and in its heyday full of white marble and gold overlay. Hard not to be impressed with all of that. But Jesus looks at it from a different perspective. He sees the facade and sees beyond the facade, and as a matter of fact, weeps for the sight of it. Because for all of its sturdiness, all its strength, all its beauty, this temple can never live up to its promises. That's the way it is with the buildings that we've grown to love or the institutions that we've grown comfortable with. They're fine as a means to an end, but they're not an end in and of themselves. Something more is going to be needed. Something different, something more powerful. The good news is that something is already here in Jesus. It's going to come to us in a way that we didn't expect. It's going to look different than we might ever have imagined. From the horror of Friday's cross to the stunner that is Sunday's empty tomb. And yet there it is. The goodness and grace of God poured out in such beauty and in such depth that we could never imagine. The truth is, that magnificent temple in Jerusalem, and every single Christian church that's ever been built, and every Christian church that ever will be built, all of them have been rendered obsolete by this Christ, whose crucified and risen self is the final and abiding presence of God for the universe. And even more, consider, this Christ is for you. This Christ is relentlessly on your side, continues to come bearing the grace and love and mercy of God into your life every day, even into eternity. This is the Christ that walks with you every step of the way. If you've been enjoying these videos, we invite you to subscribe to them by clicking the link below. Or check us out on Facebook. Or better yet, come join us for worship on Sunday morning. We gather at 8:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. and would love to have you be part of the crowd. Thanks.